everyone, welcome back to another Stamp Chatter video. My name is Leanne and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator on the coast of British Columbia. So today I'm going to do what I promised to do last week, which was make the other Magic Slider card in a different way. So we're going to use this set today, the Festive Friends, along with the dies that go with it. I've also got some DSP paper that's from Christmas Tags and More 6x6. And just to remind you, last week we did this magic slider. So basically our character changes color magically. But we're going to do it this way, which is the way I was shown 20 plus years ago, where our character pops out of the frame. He disappears, and to me, a little more magic. But you decide. It's up to you. So this was the Spooky Halloween, and we're going to do the Festive Friends today. So let's get started. All right, haven't cut anything up. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take some garden green and we're going to cut this up. Oh, I also need some Whisper White. Bring that in there. And my cutter. And we are going to cut our card base for this, which is going to be 4 1/4 by 11. So 4 1/4. And we'll score that at 5 1/2. And then we will take our Whisper White and we're going to cut one piece at 3 1/2 inches. By 5 inches. Now I'm going to say a scant 5, which to me is just under that line. And when we come to it, I'll tell you why in a minute. If you cut it at 5, it's no big deal. Okay, 3 1/2 by 4 3/4 is the second piece. And I'm actually going to score this at 1/2 inch. Not that I'm going to fold it, but so I'm just going to do it lightly so I have a mark. I don't know if you can see that. That's just going to let me know where I want to put my tape. All right, so I'll bring in some DSP as well. Oh, first let's cut our transparency sheet. That is going to be also 5 inches by 3 1/2. So 3 1/2. You might want to change your blade when you're cutting plastic. It can dull it if you do a lot of it. So you might want to use an older blade. Okay, that's already 5 inches. So that's my transparency sheet, 3 1/2 by 5. And now I'm going to do the layering piece on the top. So the front of my card is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to do a scant. So I'm going to do 4 1/8 because I like scant borders. And then instead of 5 1/4, I'm going to do 5 3/8. All right. So those, I believe, are all the pieces we need. So let's do the front first. So on the card that I did last time, we folded it this way. And this is the actual scored part is what we actually cut to, and you know, anyway, do this, which probably could use the other side. I'm sure you could. I just never did it that way. But on this one, we're actually going to use the open end. So this, you can score this and you can give it a good burnish if you want with your bone folder. And we will put this DSP over top with some glue. Just going to go on the outside edges because I'll be cutting the center part out. So just like this. All right, and then this comes with, it's one of the dies that is part of the Festive Friends dies. So I'm going to use this. make sure and open this up because you only want to cut the top layer. So I'm going to go cut that out and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just want to point out, I was started to center this and I thought, no, can't do that. So I lowered it a little bit. So it's not perfectly centered. I do have a more space up at the top here, and that's because we're going to punch a hole there so that we have something to pull our slider out. Okay, so that's that. And I'm actually going to bring in a circle punch. Doesn't really matter what size, whatever you have. We're going to try going through 2 layers here. I'm going to flip this over for a second. And I'm just going to put a mark at 2 1/8. So I just put a pencil mark here so I know that that is approximate center, and you don't have to be perfect. 2 layers. Ooh, if you can't go through 2 layers, don't worry about it. Just do 1 at a time. I usually do 1 at a time. I'm just going to try this. Oh, worked. No issue. Excellent. All right, so you've got a little place to pull the slider. All right, that's done. Let's put that aside for a second. Let's bring in, okay, well, let's bring that back and stick this piece in. So this is the piece with, I have that score line on the bottom, 1/2 inch. Now, again, it's just for reference for me, so I know where to put the tape. I could have done a 1/4 inch if I wanted to, but then that would make this measurement slightly different. So I'm putting some tape just under, that's tearaway tape, underneath that score line. And I will flip this up. And I'm just guessing center it best you can. What looks about right. And it's just sitting on that score line so I can fold it easily, not a problem. Now, what you want to do, so if you do this yourself in your measurements, maybe you don't really understand them, you need to understand this. So from this score line that I made and taped to the top of this card, for me is 5 inches, which is why I made this white piece 5 inches, because this is eventually going to slide in here and it's going to get stuck just before that tape that you put on there. And the reason I did a scant is because I find, for some reason, I need a scant. I'm always cutting off just a scant on the top. So this is like, what, a 1/16 under 5 inches? I know, maybe I'm being picky, but that's the way I did it. And then this would be the exact same size. So let's put this aside. And we need a repositioning tool of some sort. I have the old Stampin' Up! One. You may have a Misty or another brand that you can use. And I probably shouldn't use that piece, but I don't know where my paper is. Actually, I'm gonna leave that in there. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is, where's my snowman? Bring in my snowman, and I need to clean him because I was playing with him earlier. Let's just clean him off. There we go. Make sure he's good and clean. Okay. All right, so we are going to, of course, we want him to go in the center here. So we're going to bring in that extra piece because this piece is going to sit in here. It's going to come up and our character's going to be here and then he's going to disappear. So this is the piece that we want. So I'm putting it in here to that fold, that score line that I did. And I'm just going to put a pencil mark in these 4 corners so I know approximately where I want my image to fall. So put that up there in the corner, take my Santa. I'm gonna put him here. I think that'll work. Okay, so let's stamp him in tuxedo black. Get him good and inked up. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in that transparency sheet and I'm going to slip that underneath. Tuck that in the corner. Now, I don't know if you can tell, mine is a bit long, but that's okay. As long as the top left corner, everything aligns and is pushed into that corner, you'll be fine. All right, some stays on. I made this mistake last time. I'm going to clean this first because stays on is very sticky. So I want to get a good impression. So I will clean that. You don't want to move it, so don't take it off because it has to be in the exact same position. All right, now I'll take my stays on and give that a good inking and stamp right onto the transparency. Now, I put this foam in there. It's not supposed to be in there, but let's see how it works. Oh, good. I was hoping it wouldn't smudge, and it's not smudged. So, good. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to take this out, put this aside. Okay, and I'll bring in some blends, and we'll get to coloring. Oh, actually, we're going to do one more thing. We're going to put a tree. So we're going to mask this. So I've already cut out on a post-it note this image again, and we're going to take the tree that's from this set. We're going to stamp it in the background with black. So let's stamp that. And again, I can kind of see where my the area is that I need to stay inside of. So I'm going to stay inside of that. And then he's just kind of in the background like that. All right, now let's just erase the lines so I don't forget. And give this a color. All right, now that we have finished coloring, we get to assemble. So what I've done, or what I'm going to do, is punch out another circle using the same 1 1/4 inch circle punch. And again, you can use whatever size that you have. It's not that big a deal. And this is 1 1/4, so I think I am 3/8, 5/8 on either side. So I will score this and bring my card front back. And I've already decorated it, so I've put a couple pieces here from the 6x6 Christmas Tags and More DSP. So it came with a bunch of cutouts, and so these are all the cutouts, or some of the cutouts. just makes decorating the card all that much faster. All right, so I'm gonna layer these on top. I'm gonna open this up. The other thing I did, which I didn't show you, is I added a bunch of strips to the side. So I just took some scraps. These are just 1/4 inch pieces of white, could be in the color of your cardstock, doesn't really matter. And I added a couple of layers. So I just added 2. You might want 3 depending on the thickness of your cardstock there. And that's just to help prevent this from sliding sideways. So I might actually have to, I mean, this seems to be okay. I might put another strip on the side, we'll see. So the idea here is that the transparency goes in front and your colored image goes in the back. And then when you pull it up, it appears that your Santa disappears and shows up at the top. So I'm going to take this little circle, we're going to fold it in half, and we're going to adhere it to this. So let's try and find center. Center, halfway of 3 1/2 is 1 1/2 plus 1/8. Is that right? Nope, 1 1/2 plus 1/4. So 1 3/4 is my halfway point. Let me just double check. 1 3/4. Yep. So I put a little mark at 1 3/4, and I'm actually going to put a little mark on this one as well at 1 2 3 4 5/8. 1 2 3 4. So at 5/8. So I've got a little mark here. You don't have to do this. If you just want to guess, that's fine. But I am just going to draw a line, no ruler, just a basic line like that. All right, so let's bring some tearaway tape. What did I do with it? Oh, it's right here. Okay, let's add that to the front, add that to the back. And bring in some scissors so I can pull that off. And this one. Okay, so let's make sure that this is perfectly lined up. Now, if you're worried about it moving, you can always take some washi tape, and I don't even know if I have some. I do have kind of like Post-it note tape. That would work. And you can just stick the two sides together if you're worried about things moving on you. You can do that. One side or both sides. And then you know it's not going to move. I don't even think mine is lined up properly. Let's try that again. There we go. All right. Oh my goodness, I've just got stuff everywhere. Anyway, I will deal with that later. Okay, so I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but if you've made a mistake with your StazOn, or you've smeared it or smudged it, because it does take time to dry on the plastic. I mean, it'll dry to the touch extremely quickly, but it does need to set, or you can actually rub it off. So if you have a problem, or you've really mucked up and you don't want to waste your transparency paper, just use some rubbing alcohol. I have 99% rubbing alcohol here, and just wipe it off. Now, the next day, if you came to do that, it would be a little harder to wipe off, but you'll still be able to rub it off. So, all right, so I've taped that together so it won't move. I've put a line here, and I've drawn a line kind of down there, and I will just do that. And then take this off. Just like that. Now we'll put a hole punch here and add some ribbon. I'm just going to use my Crocodile for this. Works best. And we'll guess at the middle. I'll bring in some red ribbon. Grab my ribbon scissors. I have lots of scissors, but these ones are only to be used for fabric. Okay, so this is kind of thick, this ribbon, so I'm just gonna turn this into a bit of a point so I can get it through that hole. And then put it through, just like that. And trim my ends. All right, just like that. So I'm gonna clean this up a little bit with this rubbing alcohol. Make sure that you don't obviously rub your image. I think this is on the other side. Oh, it's on my card. All right. Well, it's on my card, so not much I can do about that. Again, I'm being picky. All right, so then you'll just put the back in the back and the transparency over top. You're gonna slide it down till it is even. And if you find that it's too, you're just a smidge too long, then take a smidge off the bottom here and make it fit. So, but I think mine is pretty good. I'm gonna close that. And that's good. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some tape to the sides. Nope, didn't work so well. Let's give that a cut. I have very blunt nails, so that doesn't really help. All right, and then this side. So, you know, there you have it. Those are two different ways now. I will put a link, if I can figure out how to put a link to the other video so you can see the other way of doing it, which is similar but different and has a different effect. It just basically changes the color of your image. Come on now, get this off. Instead of making your image disappear. This one makes your image disappear out of the frame. The other one just simply changes color. All right, so there we go. Done. Just like that. And there you go. Color, no color. Now, I'm having trouble pulling it only because it's a bit tight in there, and I probably should put another strip, but it works nonetheless. So I hope you enjoyed that, and you go ahead and make one for yourself. And I thank you so much for watching me, and we will be back another day with another video. Thanks. Bye.